Sandra Cantu was born on March 8, 2001 in Tracy, California. She lived in a mobile home with her mum Maria, 3 older siblings and grandparents in a close-knit community which was a relatively safe place to grow up. Sandra was described as always being a happy and outgoing little girl. She often loved to play with her friends and help out around the neighbourhood when she could. But on March 27, 2009, things would soon take a dark turn. Sandra came home from school around 4 p.m. and she asked her mum to go out and play with her friends. Sandra often went out to play with her friends and knew what time she had to be home. However, hours passed and it was almost 8 p.m. and Sandra still wasn't home. Her mum started to get worried, so Maria called all of Sandra's friends and asked if they had seen her, but none of her friends had seen her in hours. Maria, in her panic, went outside looking for Sandra, but there was no sign of her anywhere. Maria was now extremely worried that something bad had happened to her daughter and called the police. When police arrived at the property, they searched the area and spoke to everyone that lived at the trailer park, but no one knew where Sandra could be. However, the Cantus did have surveillance cameras at the front of their house, which shows the last moments before her disappearance. In the video, Sandra can be seen skipping away from her home at 4 p.m, when she suddenly changes direction and walks out of frame. 8 minutes later, a neighbour's car is seen passing the camera, driving in the opposite direction, but the police would only notice something suspicious about the video later on in the investigation. By the next day, Sandra was still not found, so the police called in the FBI. There were dogs, helicopters, roadblocks were placed all around the area, and hundreds of volunteers were helping to search for the missing 8-year-old girl. Sandra's case was shared all over the media in hopes that someone might know something and come forward with any information. While the police were busy looking in the park for any sign of Sandra, Maria received an unexpected text message from Melissa Huckabee. The text message read, "Tell the police that I had something stolen today around 4 p.m. I don't know if that makes any difference or not." Melissa Huckabee was the local Sunday school teacher and the mum of one of Sandra's friends. Maria was too worried about her daughter to follow up on an unimportant missing item, so she didn't pay much attention to this message. There was a few people that were viewed as suspects during the disappearance, but the most significant would be a man who lived near the Cantus and had been seen kissing Sandra on the lips 2 years before her disappearance. This man was eventually ruled out, but the police said they will keep an eye on him. Sandra's family were holding a candlelit vigil to pray for Sandra's safety, when suddenly Melissa busted in crying and screaming. Melissa Huckabee found a note which read, "Cantu locked in stolen suitcase, thrown in water on Batch Road and Whitehall Road. Witness." The note had obvious misspellings which seemed deliberate. It was very suspicious that the person that found the note was the same person that reported the stolen suitcase earlier. Because of the note that was found, a dive team was sent to investigate the area, but the water that was searched was mostly sewage dumps and nothing was ever found. Because of the way Melissa has been acting, the police started to get suspicious of her and her involvement in the case. The police brought her in for questioning and talked to the neighbours about her. They found out that Melissa had a history of mental illness and did a lot of weird things for attention. Unfortunately, 10 days after the disappearance of Sandra, the police received an emergency call from a farmer reporting a suspicious black suitcase floating in the irrigation pond just north of the trailer park. The police instantly knew what this meant. The police took the suitcase to the county morgue where the police identified the body to be that of Sandra Cantus. Sandra had been drugged with a high dose of Xanax and she had been sexually assaulted with a foreign object. Sandra's cause of death was asphyxiation. Everyone was devastated and heartbroken by the tragic news. After finding Sandra's remains in Melissa's suitcase, the police had an overwhelming feeling that their killer was Melissa Huckabee. After searching through the CCTV footage again, police discovered that Sandra was heading in the direction of Melissa's house, and then 8 minutes later, Melissa is seen driving away in her SUV. Melissa had earlier told police she went to the church at 5 p.m. and returned home around 6:30 p.m. So police decided to search the church and found a white string that had been cut from the blinds and retied. They also found a rolling pin with a red substance on it that's later tested positive for Sandra's DNA. A couple also told police that they saw Melissa at the pond between 5:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. on the day that Sandra went missing. After this, the police now had enough evidence to arrest Melissa, so they went to her house, but she was nowhere to be seen. They then became aware that Melissa had tried to end her life by swallowing sharp blades and was in the hospital being treated for her injuries. Once she had recovered, she was taken to a police station and was arrested on April 10th, 2009. Melissa told police that she accidentally killed Sandra while playing hide and seek with Sandra and her daughter, and that Sandra zipped herself into the suitcase. Melissa then said she put the suitcase in her car and went to the church. When she came out, Sandra was dead. She said she panicked and decided to get rid of the suitcase. The police knew this was a lie, as the autopsy had already revealed injuries that she could not have received in the suitcase. There was also evidence showing that Melissa planned this. Police checked her search history and found that she was reading a story about a man who hid his granddaughter's body in a suitcase. The prosecution's theory was that Melissa lured Sandra over to her house and asked Sandra to come up to the church to help her decorate. When they got to the church, Melissa gave Sandra some juice that had the medication in it and waited until Sandra passed out, violated her and smothered her. Melissa made a plea deal and was sentenced to life in prison without parole, managing to avoid the death sentence. Melissa claims she didn't know why she did it and apologised to Sandra's parents. Why do you think Melissa did such terrible things? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.